Okay, so now we're going to look at some logarithms and how to evaluate them when they're nice values. In this case, we can look at the following. So for instance, for number 34, if you have log 3 of 9 is equal to x, this might be easier for you to think of if you know how to set this into exponential form. The exponential form, if I put log a of b to the c, not a b to the c, but a b equals c, then the exponential form, and you should write this down, is a to the c power is equal to b. Okay, so if we're going to do that, we look, this is a, so we've got 3, c here is x, so 3 to the x is equal to b, which is 9. 3 to what power is equal to 9? Well, you guys would tell me x is equal to 2. And so what that means is that this is equal to 2. Okay, so that would just be equal to 2. And so it's pretty straightforward, I guess. Let's look at the next one. Log 6 of 216 is equal to x. Well, then this is just 6 to the x is equal to 216. And so we need to figure out what power 6 to the third is equal to 6 to the 6x. So then x must equal 3. And therefore this is equal to 3. Okay. And so that's kind of straightforward on how you do these ones. So let's go to another example. Let's look at the next one. We've got log 1/3 the 1 over 81 is equal to x. Okay, this is 1/3 to the x is equal to 1 over 81. Oops. Erase that real quick. 1 over 81. And so remember, this is just 3 to the negative x is equal to 81. Well, we know 3 to the negative x is equal to 81, 1 over 81, which is just, 81 is 3 to the negative 4. So then negative x is equal to negative 4, which means x is equal to 4. And let's check that out. 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3. This is 1/9 times 1/9, 1 over 81, and so x equals 4, so the value there is 4. Okay, let's look at the next one. We've got log 125 of 5 is equal to x. So in this case we have 125 to the x power is equal to 5. Okay, this one might be a little bit more tricky. We can rewrite 125. We know that 125 is 5 times 5 times 5, so let's write this as 5 to the third to the x is equal to 5 to the 1. Well, then we raise powers to powers. We have 5 to the 3x is equal to 5 to the 1, which means 3x is equal to 1, which divided by 3, x is equal to 1/3. And so that should be 1/3. That would be correct. We can keep going. Let's look at some more. If we do, say we do log 7 of x is equal to 0, then this is 7 to the 0 is equal to x. Well, then 7 to the 0 is 1. So this is 1. Anything to the 0 is 1, and so this, if you have this is equal to 0, this will always be 1. Let's do log 3x is equal to negative 4. 3 to the negative 4 is equal to x, which means 1 over 81 is equal to x. Let's do a trickier one. Let's do log x of the square, or the, I'm sorry, the third root of, sorry, the square root of 3 over 3 is equal to 1/2. Okay, so let's figure this one out. we have the following. We have x to the 1/2 is equal to the square root of 3 over 3. Okay, so, this is the square root of x is equal to, the square root of 3 is 3 to the 1/2. And then since it's 3 down here, this is times 1/3. Yeah, times 1/3. Well, this is the square root of, actually, let's not write this as the square root of x. Let's just leave this as x to the 1/2. And then we have 3 to the 1/2 times 3 to the -1, right? Because -1, 3 to the -1 is just 1/3. When we multiply these together, we add the exponents. So this is going to be x to the 1/2 is equal to 1/2 minus 1, which is 3 to the -1/2. We're getting close. We're almost to where we need to be. Let's see. We have this, so this is going to, we can't set these equal, right? Because the base isn't the same in this case right now. The powers are almost the same. So why don't we do x to the 1/2 is equal to 1 over 3 to the 1/2? So what does that tell us? This means x is equal to 3 to the -1, maybe? I think so. So that would be 1/3. And let's test it. Let's make sure. If we do, yeah, let's do that real quick. If x is 1/3, let's just verify this because this is a trickier one. Log of 1/3 square root of 3 over 3 equals 1/2. So this means 1/3 to the 1/2 is equal to the square root of 3 over 3. We're putting a question mark. We're not sure yet. Remember, 1/2 is just the square root. So this is 1 over the square root of 3. Square root of 1 over the square root of 3 is equal to the square root of 3 over 3. And then this is going to be 1 over the square root of 3 is equal to the square root of 3 over 3. And if we rationalize the denominator times the square root of 3 times the square root of 3, we get the square root of 3 over 3 is, square root of 3 over the square root of 9 is equal to the square root of 3 over 3. And we get the square root of 3 over 3 is equal to the square root of 3 over 3. So we verified x must be -1, 3 to the -1/2. So, or 1/3. Either way works. If you don't believe it, you can do the square root of 1/3 and then do the square root of 3 over 3 on the calculator. Do them separate. They should equal each other. I hope that helped you guys. That's a more challenging one. It's a little bit difficult for an intermediate class, but I think you guys can handle it. And then let's do one final one. We have x to the -2 is equal to 1 over 100. What does x have to be equal to? Well, we can take, this is going to be x to the -2 is equal to 10 to the -2. Well, then x is equal to 10. Okay. Thanks for watching.